All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the first AWS She Builds Tech Skills episode of the new year. I am Kandyce Bohannon, and I'm a solutions architect at AWS. And I am joined today by my co-host, Tamara.
Excellent. Thank you, Kandyce. Hi, everybody. Tamara Gagliardi. I'm also a solutions architect and super excited to start the year with a new episode of AWS She Builds Tech Skills. For those that it's the first time joining us, we bring together different industry experts and different stories from she builders to highlight both technical and soft skills and bring you new skills so that you can develop your career in the cloud. And today we have a lot to cover. We'll be talking about AWS reInvent. We'll be talking about the Builders Fair. For those that haven't heard of AWS reInvent, AWS reInvent is a learning conference that is hosted by AWS, Amazon Web Services. And we bring together different sessions. This is an in-person event that is for the global cloud computing community. We feature keynote announcements and keynote speakers where we'll talk about new services or new features within the services that we currently offer. There's also training and certification opportunities, over 2,000 different technical sessions. There's after-hour events and also an expo floor where we'll be talking more about within the expo floor what AWS She Builds Tech Skills did and the stories that we're bringing forward in today's episode. And this event, AWS reInvent, is for anybody that is looking to both transform their business with the cloud, hear about the latest innovations within AWS, explore new technologies. As I mentioned, we have keynote speakers, innovation talks, breakout sessions. For those that were not able to attend in person, all these sessions are recorded and they are posted within the AWS Events YouTube channel. And as well, we ourselves, Kandyce and a couple of the core members at AWS She Builds Tech Skills, were able to attend in person. And we brought forward a lot of those stories for those that weren't able to be there in person so that you can still get that experience. And for those that are planning ahead of the year, I know a lot of us set up new goals. For reInvent 2024, it's taking place in December 2nd through December 6th in Las Vegas. So I know I mentioned a lot about kind of what reInvent is, and Kandyce, like, what do we do at reInvent? Now, you attended as well.
Yeah. I love reInvent. It's one of my favorite conferences as a customer and as an employee now. Like you said, there's just so much information. You're in Vegas. There's after hours parties. The expo floor is super exciting. It's just a lot of fun. We were there as part of She Builds, and we did quite a few different things. Today we'll have a little bit more content coming from the expo floor. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. We also had this EBA fireside chat. It was kind of like a panel presentation. And that was live from one of the facilities there at the Venetian. I was part of that one, and you'll see some technical difficulties, which are always fun. For like a minute, we're muted. So just fast forward through that. It's not you, it's me. I'll probably fix that later. But those things happen, right? So we did do this EBA fireside chat and had we had 3 different women from various different companies and different levels of experience kind of talk about what do they like about technology, what are they excited about at reInvent, and what are they looking forward to, how do we encourage more women in tech. So it was a really good and short and sweet sort of session. Definitely encourage you to check that out. We also participated in this thing called the All Builders Welcome Grant. So specifically what we did is we went to a luncheon. So we participated kind of as mentors and went to this luncheon, got to hang out with people who had some sort of financial barrier to attend AWS reInvent, maybe college students, maybe just getting started in their career. but you can apply to be part of this All Builders Welcome grant program and potentially get in, especially if you're an underrepresented technologist. And so what we mean by that is that, like a woman, Black, Hispanic, or Latino, Native people, people with disabilities, LGBTQIA plus, military veterans, those are all kind of those underserved technologist type of people. So if you happen to be one of those and you want to go to reInvent next year, but maybe it's expensive, you should definitely check out that All Builders Welcome grant. It was a really cool way that we could kind of participate and really kind of double click on that new leadership principle. The one that sounds like Spider-Man. That's, what is it? With great.
It's with great success and scale brings broad responsibilities. It's one of the latest leadership principles at Amazon AWS.
Yeah, I like that one. So that was one of the ways that we kind of gave back and participated there as well. My favorite, well, I love the replay party, but my second favorite part is Builders Fair. So you may have seen our first video from Builders Fair. If not, here's a link to that right here. And Builders Fair is really cool because it's an opportunity for us, AWS employees, to build something, and then we get to go to reInvent and show it off. And so it's kind of showcasing different AWS services and different things that we can do with those services. They kind of say it's like a science fair for AWS services, but without the volcanoes. So there's a lot of cool projects there, and you get to go and talk to the people that actually built those. So we did publish one already. We're hoping to have 4 videos of those all together. So today we're going to give you the second one. So I'll play that for you here in just one moment. But also want to talk just a little bit more about Builders Fair. I think we had like about 400 people submit ideas, and then maybe 40 or 50, about 10% of those are chosen to be presented there at Builders Fair. And we also switch I think it's halfway through. So some of the Builders Fair projects are shown 2 days, and then some are shown the other 2 days. So you should go to the expo floor multiple times if you do get to go to reInvent. So yeah, I think that both Tamara and I have presented at Builders Fair before. We've done some of that, so we can kind of answer questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post those in the chat. Tell us your favorite part of reInvent, or if you have any other questions. And with that, I will go ahead and play this video, which features, 4 of our female builders and some of the cool stuff that they've done.
Welcome to reInvent 2023. We're going to take you onto the expo floor so you can see some of the cool projects at the Builders Fair. It's like a science fair for AWS projects, but without the volcanoes. And as part of our AWS She Builds Tech Skills, we want to showcase our women builders.
Hi, my name is Bohannon, and I'm a solutions architect at AWS. Describe video provides audio description for videos and movies, and the main use case of it is for visually impaired. This is a quick demo of that.
Softly next to the crackling fireplace, filling the cozy living room with warmth and holiday spirit on Christmas Eve.
This is our architecture. We are using Amazon Recognition and Amazon Bedrock. Amazon Recognition identified key items in the video and output the labels, those as labels, and we use those to create a description using a foundation model hosted in Bedrock. And then we create an audio file using Poly. And we have also built a front end using React framework and cloud-state design system that allows the users to create the video description that they'd like using prompt engineering techniques, and they can pick a model that is hosted in Amazon Bedrock, and that's all.
Tamara. Hello. We're based in Paris, and we developed AWS a game called Unicorn Safari. It's a treasure hunt game, and it's based on AI recognition. So
as AWS, we have the opportunity to build some demonstration, and we build this treasure hunt game for the Paris Summit. And the purpose is like to hide the unicorns that you see at the table in different booths, and you have to catch them with our application.
So she's gonna do a demo of it. She's gonna go and scan this QR code. This is how we usually do. And
we have our web app that we deploy with AWS services. It's all serverless services. You can see the architecture just after. And the purpose is each time you see a unicorn, you have to take your cell phone, go to the scan button, and take a picture of it.
Our main services are Amazon recognition. We train the models so that it can recognize each unicorn, so that if someone scans the same unicorn twice, it's gonna say, hey, you've already scanned this one, so you need to catch another one.
And each time you scan the unicorn, you have 1 point. So me, I already found one before, so I have 2 points. And the purpose is to find 10 unicorn. And we also create this demonstration to add more interaction during summit or booths or event like re-events, because we are putting the unicorn in different stands to create interaction between the customer and the presenter.
And also to push our customers to go and visit many booths, because sometimes they miss some interesting demos. So we're putting unicorns in different booths for different purposes, and people can just go and discuss with the developers and people from other booths. Yeah.
And to be sure that everybody will play, we are giving the unicorn at the end of the day for the winner. So like this way, we have a big raffle at the end of the day, and we take the name of all the winner, and we are giving them the unicorn. So like this we are sure it's always a success. And you can see the architecture here. So like Nada said, our main services is Amazon recognition. We use the recognition custom label. We add 10 folder, each for 1 unicorns, that are all stored in S3 buckets. And so we train our model with our unicorn. We add more than we have more than 2,000 pictures of unicorn. So we did a lot of data augmentation to have a big data set and be able to recognize the unicorn. We have a serverless database, and also we are using a lot of lambda function.
We're using the DynamoDB table to just store the players' data, like the points they get, how many unicorns they cached, but we're not storing any personal information of the players. So this is important to mention. And AWS Lambda is for all the functions that we're using to update the score of the players, to reset the game,
the username,
yeah,
the game. Like this, it's fully anonymous. We are keeping no personal information.
So each time there's a new player, we just give them a
random name.
A random name, username, nickname.
And so we also have our application online. We own the domain name, so Unicorn Safari is our website. And we put this architecture in infrastructure as code. So like this, it's really easy to deploy it, and the purpose is like to show that anybody can create recognition use case with AWS services.
That's all.
Hello, I'm Lydia Calfoun. I'm solution architect based in France, and today I will present you the connected football table. So the idea here is to first present what is computer vision at the edge. The second part is how we can gather all the data for gamify the game experience during a match. So you have a camera here, and you have the display of all what is going on during the match, and you will detect the player, and the balls. It will also automatically detect the goals. So, for example, I'm very sucks at football table. Football table. Oh, own goal. But see, you have the display of the goal and the speed, and we change as well the score automatically. And the idea after is to extend the KPI by adding more machine learning capabilities, such as expected goals, such as which team will win. And the idea also is to have like highlight of the whole match with replay videos. And the idea is to also generate comments with generative AI when we have an action, a pass, a shot. So yeah, and the idea as well is you can do this part in connected football table, but you can also put this technology into another sport such as baseball, American football, and extend to manufacturing use case such as detect default detection in parts and reject these parts, the default parts in the production line. So regarding the architecture, we have one part at the edge. So we train the machine learning models into the cloud with Amazon SageMaker, and we push it through IoT Greengrass into the NVIDIA Jetson O-ring. And after, regarding the data ingestion pipeline, we are using Kinesis data stream for raw data. Also, the event data such as action, shots, will push to another Kinesis data stream. And also we make some computation through Amazon Lambda, such as calculated the fastest goal of the match. And after we also integrate, generate logos with Amazon Bedrock, especially with the Stable Diffusion XL models. And finally, to display to everyone what is going on during a match, we create a web application with services such as AWS AppSync, Amazon CloudFront for the caching, and Amazon Cognito for the authentication.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so little sneak peek of what it's actually like, a little elevator pitch and everything from a few of our female builders. So I don't know, I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it was very exciting to be there, be able to talk to all the she builders, understand what was their motivation, what they were working on, have a demo. We went around, as I mentioned, they switch within the midweek. So we stopped by there a couple of times and got to interact with a lot of the great projects. We've shared some of the videos. There's more coming up, but also, Kandyce, I think that we have special guests today.
We do, as a matter of fact. Let's add them to the stage. So a couple of our she builders that we showcased in the first video that was published. So this is Alexa and Sonali. Thanks so much for coming back and talking with us a little bit here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and kind of introduce yourselves to the audience? Alexa, you go first and just kind of tell us what you do at AWS, and then we'll jump into your project.
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name's Alexa Perlov. I'm a solutions architect here at AWS in the media and entertainment vertical. I'm based out of New York City. I'm excited to be here today.
Thanks. And you, Sonali?
Hi everyone, I'm Sonali Jena. I'm a solutions architect at AWS based out of Toronto. I work with partners in the national security, federal, and defense space in Canada. So very exciting there. And I help them build solutions.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for joining us in today's session. I know that we, for those that are viewing, we will have a demo. We'll go behind the scenes too in the project. We try to bring a little of the technology along with the experience at the Builders Fair. And before you even get to Builders Fair, there's a whole ideation, and there's a moment where the teams come together, they come up with ideas, what services they would be using. So I'm curious, maybe Alexa, if you can talk a little about how did your team or how did you come up with the idea for Builders Fair? What was that experience? What did it take? So for those that in the future would like to submit to Builders Fair, have a little insight into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the early summer, there's a call for projects where you can kind of submit a quick application. And the brainstorming process is really just thinking about the art of the possible. You want to have a project that is super cool and has this wow factor that's almost like tangible. I think you guys said this earlier in the show, just kind of making it like a science fair, but for AWS. So trying to think outside of the box. And I actually applied to the Builders Fair for the first time 2 years ago. And I had been inspired by some of the work my sister does. She's in med school and she started a program at her school that is to teach doctors better care for the deaf and hard of hearing community. And seeing the work she was doing there kind of inspired my first proposal, which was having a speech to American Sign Language robotic hand translator. So I was able to present that at reInvent in 2022. So I had a robotic hand. People would come up to my booth, talk into a microphone, and then the hand would finger spell it. And that was awesome. It was a really fun prototype to build. But as I'm sure you can imagine, the impact is pretty low because it's this physical device and you can only do finger spelling because you only have one hand instead of two. And sign language is this whole rich language that requires facial expression in the full body. And a lot of feedback I got at the end of reInvent in 2022 was it would be cool to see this as an avatar. So then this past summer, when it was time for reInvent projects submissions, I submitted round 2 of my ASL project, this time speech to ASL, but with an avatar instead of a robotic hand. And so that's what our team built this year.
That's amazing, Alexa. And I think one thing maybe we didn't clarify, all the submissions are from internal employees making the submission for AWS reInvent for the Builders Fair. And sounds like you follow the flywheel approach that we get sometimes on taking on feedback and bettering the in this case, the project or the service or the product. So thanks for sharing the behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I think, so we did show this one last, right before Christmas. This one was shown on one of our previously uploaded videos. So you can go back and check it out. I did post it earlier and here it is. So here's the link for that if you want to go check out all of it and see Alexa and Sonali on the expo floor. But we also have a little video for those of you who did not maybe catch the last one, need to go catch up for that, just so that you can kind of see that in action. So I'm going to play that now. And then Sonali, would you like to kind of walk us through and explain?
Absolutely, would love to.
Oops, sorry, you do it tomorrow. Sorry.
So what you see here right now is on the right hand side, you see a black box where your audio has been transcribed into a text. So the message is, I'm sending everyone my best holiday wishes and let's have teamwork, make the dream work in New York. That's something that that's something that we say within AWS, teamwork makes the dream work. Typically words do not have the same meaning when you translate. Some examples like idiomatic phrases. So what we are doing is a Gen AI simplification, which you see in green on the top, which is the meaning of the sentence is, I'm sending all the people my best wishes. We are also doing a sentiment analysis. The sentiment of the statement is positive. And you see the avatar, which is the wow feature of our project this year. So the avatar is translating the Gen AI, doing a Gen AI simplification and then translating. For people who know ASL, you might know that in sign language, there is no tense. And this is why we denote the tense first, and then we translate the sentence in a simplified manner.
Very cool.
And there is a picture. So there is a picture at the end. Thanks, it goes back. So this picture is also denoting what is the sentiment of the message. So just because it is holiday message, it is a nice, warm and cozy place for holidays.
Very cool. I like it a lot. Definitely gives like a feel for what's actually happening. And although the mechanical hand was very cool, this feels more immersive and like just like the next gen of it. So that's awesome. So Sonali, how did you come to be part of the project as well? Like how did you and Alexa meet each other, and how do you collaborate through this?
Well, I do have a story to say, and it sounds as a story. So, I was participating in another summit of AWS, which is the Toronto Summit, and Alexa was in there too. So we both of us were supporting some workshops in the Toronto Summit, and they say networking is a key aspect. We just happened to connect, and we were speaking. And I have a different project, which is a real-time voice-to-voice translation. So no hardware involved. Imagine me speaking in one language and you hear in the preferred language of your choice. So I had that project already in production, kind of like as a builders fair in a different summit, and I knew about this robotic arm. So when I discussed with Alexa, I was like, okay, we were just discussing, okay, what's your plan for reinvent? And we were both thinking, hey, I have my language translation, and I know about this robotic arm, so maybe we should do real time language translation with robotic arm. And she says me, guess what, I am the person who did the robotic arm. Like, how cool is that, right? And then we got together, we did a little bit of a brainstorming, and then submitted, she submitted the idea, and fingers crossed, few months later our idea was selected.
That's amazing. As you mentioned, it's sounds like a collaboration of two ideas. One of our other principles is reinvent and simplify. So being able to reuse assets, and maybe by combining them, creating something new, which I know that both of you shared a little about the approach to building the project, but maybe Alexa, if we can talk a little more about maybe your favorite services, or if you can double click on how did you go about combining both ideas to now bring forward at the Builders Fair this new project.
Yeah, so we had a quick turnaround to get our project ready for reInvent. So we started off by just trying to reuse what we have, and then add on the new features as necessary. And but yeah, some of the best services, some of the fun services we use, we were able to touch on a lot of the AI ML services. So things like Amazon Transcribe for converting audio in real time to speech, or speech in real time to text, and then using Amazon Comprehend. So as you saw in the demo, we were doing sentiment analysis utilizing Comprehend, which does all sorts of natural language processing. We also used it to do like a toxicity check, so that it would make sure, like nobody was saying anything like inappropriate or unethical, that wouldn't get passed along to our avatar. And then we were also using Amazon Bedrock to do our semantic simplification. So as Sonali explained, when you translate from English into sign language, it might not necessarily be a word for word translation. So that's where Bedrock came into play and helped us be able to do the semantic simplification.
And I know that at reInvent, there's hundreds of people that join us at the conference that stop by the booth. A lot of them either see an opportunity to implement what you build on their own businesses. Sometimes there's fun comments or questions that come up. We'd like to hear from both of you. What was your experience at Builders Fair? And then if there's any interesting question or comment that any of the visitors that stopped by your booth said. I don't know who wants to take it first, but we'd love to hear that behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, I can take it first. So my favorite part about that was people coming to our booth and looking for our booth. What that meant was they saw the session catalog at reInvent, and they knew that there is an ASL translator project, and they would come to the Builders Fair area asking for our project, like, where can I find this project? So that was a rewarding experience for me. All the hard work that we put into it beyond our day-to-day work, that was a very rewarding experience for me. And we had a few people come to the booth who were hard of hearing, and when we had some moments with them where they were really excited and engaged into the demonstration of the project, and they would try out, they would ask their ASL interpreter to say some sentences into the mic and see how the avatar is translating them. So that was a real use case of our project, and that was my favorite part about it. Alexa, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I mean, just reiterating that it was a fantastic experience. It was awesome getting so much feedback, and the general sentiment was people were excited about our project. We were able to talk to like various people that work at some companies that are interested in what we're doing and want to partner with us, or we're in the process of open sourcing our project, so they're excited to get that information, and we're in the process of potentially writing a blog post. So lots of stuff coming, but it was awesome to get such great feedback and to meet people that are in a similar space as us that are excited about what we're doing and maybe collaborate in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's like the whole point of it, is to kind of have these like key interactions and feedback easily from your users. I also want to just quickly show that you're also teaching our audience here just a little bit about these APIs and tools, Comprehend. It's a very cool tool, very easy to use as well. So definitely recommend taking a look at that. But also thanks, Alexa and Sonali, for spreading the knowledge. That's great. So as you were building this, as you were coming up with your project, as you were building it and getting ready to go to reInvent, maybe even on the floor, the expo floor, because I know stuff always breaks when it's demo time, right? But what are some of those key challenges that you encountered, and how did you get through them? Maybe some advice you'd like to give the audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges was simply the scope of the project and the tight timeline we had. I think we started developing it in September, and reInvent was end of November. So we knew like beginning of November we have to have something that's ready to be presented. So that was, and this was not our full-time job. This was a side project that we're working on our own time. And I remember when Sonali and I first sat down, we were just like, oh boy, how are we gonna like build this avatar? That was a whole space that was completely new to me. We ended up using Unreal Engine. I had never used Unreal Engine before, but luckily we kind of got together a group of 6 of us, and we all had various strengths and just like a wide variety of expertise. And we were really lucky. For example, one of our teammates is an Unreal Engine expert. So we were really able to each find our niche in the project where our strengths could really shine and own different aspects of it, and just work the 6 of us together to first build out the MVP, and then from there kind of add in the nice to have features and get it into a good shape for reInvent. So it was a lot of just really good teamwork and clear communication and collaboration.
Awesome. That it's coming back to that teamwork makes the dream work sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So to add to that, what Alexa mentioned, basically, so the first thing what she mentioned was putting together the entire team. And when we initially submitted our project, our core idea was just to have ASL avatar translation. There is one other Amazon leadership principle: insist on the highest standards and learn and be curious, right? So when we completed the avatar translation, our team was like, what can we do more? We started late, but all of us put in that extra time. And towards the end of October, beginning of November, we had a finalized idea, but still we wanted to do more. What can we do more? How can we even enhance it? And that's when all these added features of sentiment analysis, toxicity check, all this came into play. And the best part was when we said we have toxicity check in place, someone came to our booth and were like, okay, are you sure? Let's try toxicity check. And they did say something, and recognition identified it, like sentiment comprehend analyzed it as a negative sentiment, and recognition found the image to be toxic, so the image was blurred out. And that was really cool for them to see, because it was not appropriate to be seen in a public forum. So when we added these features, and that was tested out successfully, that was great. Like we could overcome it and being tested successfully.
awesome. So kind of pulling on that, what do you think was your biggest success? Was it that toxicity thing? Like maybe even just completing it? Like that's a tight timeline. What would you say?
Yeah. So the biggest success for us was landing onto the reInvent floor, really, and being overwhelmed by the number of attendees who want to come to our booth to learn about the project, to explore about the project. And when the attendees came in, they were like, "Okay, this sounds really cool. We want to contribute to it. How can we do that?" So back as part of insisting on the highest standards, we were already planning on making our project open source. So we had for any Amazon solution to become an open source, it has to follow the pillars of the well-architected framework. There are 6 pillars of the well-architected framework for our audiences out there. If it's an iteration, let me repeat it: operational excellence, cost efficiency, security, performance, reliability, and sustainability. So our solution went through this review of the well-architected framework, and we made it open source. So great news. If you want to learn about our project, it is already open source on AWS Samples, ASL Gen AI Translator. You can download the repo and connect with us. And we are already receiving feedback, not only from external people, but also from the internal Amazonian folks who are downloading the project and showing it to their customers. So that's part of the biggest success that I would see. And we had customers come in who wanted to use it for any public platform, any public forum. Like right now, I'm speaking. How cool it would be if the avatar could show it in ASL translation for users joining who are hard of hearing, cannot understand what I'm saying without, and it's not always possible to have a human ASL translator. But this tool can be used in public forum and can be used for just reaching out to the wider community and to bridge the gap between people, between us and the hard of the hearing community.
That is so awesome. Such a great impact that you get to give. Like you had this like accidental meeting between the two of you, and now you have this like really cool project that people are very interested in. So I love it. This is a really great success type of story. So thanks for sharing and for coming on to our show today. I think that it's been a really good session. I think. I love that we're able to kind of show what's happening at reInvent and get more people excited about that, and that your project has been such an influential thing as well. So thanks so much for being here. Any parting words? What? Oh, awesome. Tamara found the link for your project and just posted it. That's great.
Awesome. Yeah. Alexa, would you like to go with the parting thought, and then I can share something?
Sure. I mean, just thank you so much for having us on here today. We're really excited to keep iterating on this project and to see where we can take it in 2024.
Very cool.
Absolutely. And I want to say thank you to the SheBuilds community. Like we did have the project in reInvent, but being part of this, our project is now visible to a wider audience. So more feedback, and like feel free to try out the project and like reach out to us if there's any question on that.
Great.
Yeah, it's been very inspiring to having both of you sharing how did you both connect, how did you come up with an asset that's reusable, then took it a step further, and now it's available for others. I know that also hearing your story for those that want to participate in the future, and what were some of the tricks, how you came about doing the submission. So I'm so happy to have both of you. Very inspiring stories, very inspiring project. And with that, I know that we're coming to the end of today's session. We will be having other behind the scenes on AWS reInvent and what the AWS SheBuilds Textile team did and other projects. So please stay tuned. We're sharing the YouTube channel there where we'll be posting. We'll be doing lives and then others that will be pre-recorded and shared with you. And with that, thank you very much as well, Kandyce, my amazing co-host, for joining us today in this episode.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.